lot of my friends will not be aware or up. I have a lot of international friends, so they will not be able to see it.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Booked Up with Beth. I am Beth Hildenbrand, and tonight we have Barbara Ehrentreau.
Ehrentreau.
Ehrentreau. See,
Ehrentreau.
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 Correct.
Okay, she can say it better than me because it's her name.
Don't feel bad. No one can pronounce that one.
Well, my last name, my maiden name was Schaefer.
Oh,
and I would always get Schaffer or Schiffer or, because there's like a dozen different ways to spell Schaefer. So yeah, it was crazy growing up, but I knew what my name was. So Carrie is here already, and she says hi. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
So I am thrilled to have Barbara on the show tonight. And before we dig into all her goodies, I'm going to ask her if she can tell us a little bit about herself.
Okay. I was born in Brooklyn, and then we moved to Queens, and then I moved all over the country. I moved to Cortland for college and stayed there after I was married. And then we moved from there to California. Strange. Yes. Then from California, we moved back to Vestal. And then from Vestal, we moved to Buffalo, where we were for 8 years. And then I moved back to Kew Gardens, Queens, then Long Island, then back up to Westchester, and then to Connecticut. So I have
moved
around a lot.
Yes, you did. I'm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So I'm close to some of your places there.
Yes. And so then I was a teacher for about 20 years. I taught elementary school, and so I taught actually first grade, third grade, sixth grade, fifth grade, and then I taught a little bit of middle school where I was teaching computers. And then I retired a long time ago. And when my husband passed away, he passed away in 2014.
I'm sorry.
I was devastated. Kerry and I have that in common. He's gone 12 years, and for her it's 11. And I decided that I almost died the night that he passed away from dehydration. So I decided that when I was sad, I would write a poem. So all of those poems that I wrote, plus some of my other poems, were put into my book. You'll probably forget me, living with and without Hal. And this was published by Susan Joyner Stump, Wildfire Publishing, because she loved my poetry and she wanted to publish it. And it's very, very, some of them, as you can, I'm sure you've read them, it's very, very sad. But writing those poems helped me. And then later, I had actually earlier, when my husband was alive, I wrote my first book, If I Could Be Like Jennifer Taylor. It got published by a Canadian ebook publisher who then went into paperbacks. And he went out of business in 2019. So the two books I had published with her were languishing on Amazon with nothing. So in 2023, I republished my book, If I Could Be Like Jennifer Taylor, this one. And it had to have a new cover because I couldn't use the old cover. And, oh, sorry, my light just Fell over. Okay. All right. That's good. Okay. So I have a sequel coming out to that, Who is Jennifer Taylor? That's being published by an Indian publisher. And that's me. I write poetry. I have another poetry book that may be coming out this spring. And I've been in a lot of different groups writing poetry. And I do open mics sometimes. And I go to book festivals for my books. And that's me.
Well, you are fabulous, and you have won more awards than I could list. It would take me the entire show to list all the awards you have won for your
Thank you.
poetry. You're fabulous.
Thank you.
Nina asks, who is your favorite author?
That I have come to decide was Jane Austen.
Good choice there. There goes my son, Matthew.
Okay.
You have to go through my office to get to the bathroom. So
that's okay.
Every now and then you will see somebody zip by.
They, a couple of years ago, I decided after reading someone's book where she decided to read Jane Austen to help her to get through her father's passing, because they used to read Jane Austen together. I decided to reread every single Jane Austen book. And so I did. I read every one of her books, including the last. Everything okay?
Yeah, she's just letting herself be known, apparently.
What is that?
Oh, well, for heaven's sakes, Lily. Oh, she's a diva. She thinks she must be the center of attention.
The cat was.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
Really? Find something else to do, please. Sorry about that.
It's okay. So, yeah, that's what I did. I read all of her books, and I loved them so much. I loved how she writes. I loved her stories, and you can read them over and over again and find new things in them. So, yeah.
Which one is your favorite?
I would have to say probably either Emma or Pride and Prejudice. Yeah.
Both good stories. I haven't read those in, oh my goodness. Oh, too long. I should probably go back and reread them.
Yeah, you should, because they are fabulous. Also, the one that starts with a P, but I forgot the name of it. It's about she's in a seaside town, and there's a spa. I like that one too. What's it called? It'll come to me. Anyway, I really love Jane Austen.
Speaking of the classics, did you see they have remade a movie? Which one is it? On one of the classics. Catherine and Heathcliff.
Oh, Wuthering Heights.
Yes. Why do they do this? Why do they do this?
Yeah, I don't know. They've changed it a lot, I heard.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought I'm going to have to watch it, and it will probably be painful for me. And now that you just said that, it's like, okay, it's going to be even more painful, isn't it? Because the classic I love.
Yeah.
When they remade it the last time, I was like, oh no. And I'm thinking, now they've remade it again. And I'm thinking, oh no. Just like Romeo and Juliet. I love the classic version. And then when they did that modern one, oh boy, did they ruin it. And I thought, if they ever do that one again, they're gonna botch it, of
I
course.
like I like the Claire Danes one though. That
Yes.
one's beautiful. Zeffirelli did the music. It was just, yeah.
But every time they try and redo the classics, they just absolutely
I
screw
know.
them up.
I know. I like the Jane Austen movies though. Most of them are good.
Yeah, I saw they redid Pride and Prejudice not too long ago, and I thought I should watch. But trying to get my husband to watch things like that is like trying to pull teeth. It's always cops or something like that. It's like anytime you try and put anything else on the TV, forget about it. And last night I was like, if you put on a cop show, I swear I'm throwing something through the TV. I just can't take it anymore. Cops or news. Get it off. Just get it off.
Well, my husband was a defense lawyer, so he didn't like to watch anything with trial lawyers or cops or anything. So we didn't watch those shows.
Oh, lucky you. Yeah, I'll put on the History Channel and things like this, Discovery. These are the kind of shows I like to watch when I'm watching something. But now,
I like romance. My daughters like it too, so we watch a lot of romance and cooking shows.
oh, I like to watch Beat Bobby Flay and things
That's
like that.
yeah,
I enjoy that. But
yeah.
and I like to watch things where I can learn something or find out, weird facts that I can put into my books. Like you'll have to ask Carrie sometime about the monkey balls and the prisoners. Now that was an interesting little factoid there that I think somebody needs to put in their book someday. But yeah, I'm going off topic again. So Nina is asking about your writing cave. Do you have a certain setup when you write?
Actually, I write at my desk. Um, I have this huge wooden desk, and it has my Betty Boop collection on top. I have Betty Boop dolls, and I have a few like photographs and a few statues and things that people have given me, and just odds and ends. And also on the shelves, there are two sets of shelves on either side. I keep my signed books on one side, and I keep the books that I have written and my friends have written on the other side. So, and then,
Um,
yeah, in between is all kinds of junk.
so I wanted to ask you. I read your book, "If I Could Be Like Jennifer Taylor," and it takes us back to high school. Oh, freshmen in high school. Oh, I remember that year well. And okay, everybody dreads it unless you're the popular girl, which Jennifer Taylor is. And the main character in the book is Carolyn, and she is the nerdy girl who wants to be Jennifer Taylor. There's always that girl that is Miss Popularity, and all the other girls think, oh, if I was her, what would life be? But it turns out Jennifer's life is not all perfect.
No, no, and that's what I wanted to show in my book, that all my life, all my life, in school life, I wanted to be that popular girl. And so I don't know, my daughter didn't feel she was popular. My other daughter didn't care about being popular. So when I wrote the book, it was mainly to show and to write a book for young adults that would not be about dead mothers and dead fathers or fantasy or drugs, anything like that. I wanted to have a book that would show what the real problems are, because at the time, I don't know if you're going to ask me about it, but at the time, my daughter was going through the beginnings of an eating disorder, and she was acting out. And it just so happens, did you want to know why I wrote the book? Is that
Oh, absolutely.
okay? So, why I wrote the book. All right. Do you remember a children's author named Paula Danziger?
Vaguely, the name sounds familiar.
She wrote a lot of books. The one that you might remember is The Cat Who Ate My Jumpsuit.
Yes, yes.
I was at Manhattanville, and she was offering a creative writing, children's writing workshop. And in order to get into the workshop, you had to write 3 pages of a children's story. And that night that I was writing it, my daughter was acting out with her eating disorder. And I thought to myself, and also she was feeling unpopular. And so I decided to divide her in half and use her character as both Carolyn, the girl who felt too fat, and Jennifer, who was the popular girl who wanted to be a gymnast and was having this eating disorder because she needed to stay thin, you know. So I wrote this story and brought it in the next day to my teacher, to the workshop. And she wrote on, when we got to speak, she wrote on every single page, cut, cut, cut. And then, being Paula Danziger, she rewrote that entire 3 pages for me. And when I asked her, could I use some of it? She said, sure. She said, you have to write in short sentences for children. You can't write in long sentences. So you have to have short sentences. It has to be sharp. So she took all those sentences I had written and she condensed them. She made the beginning of the book. Actually, the first part of the chapter is mainly Paula, and she allowed me to use her words. I mean, I tweaked it a little, but mainly that is what she did for me. She helped me with this book. So I dedicated the book to her because she was.
That's fabulous. That's amazing. And it was such a good story. And I remember back in the day, that was a big thing, the whole eating disorder thing. I
It
remember
still is, I think. I think it still is. It's being covered up a lot, but girls still feel that way. They feel they're not.
But now they have so many drugs for it. For heaven's sakes, you can get that thing and give yourself a shot to lose weight now. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. And you can, take a picture of yourself and filter it to make yourself look different. It's I don't understand it, why people can't just be who they are and be happy with who they are. I said the other day, you know what? I'm 56 years old. This is who I am. I have no desire to filter myself to look any different. If people don't like it, they can kiss my butt. And but it took me a long time to find that attitude.
Right. And I'm much older than you, but I feel the same way. I feel I don't want to change anything. A couple of years ago, I had my eyes done because of vision problems. I was not seeing peripherally at all. They were too droopy. So I had both of them done. But aside from that, I have had nothing else changed on my face. And if I tell you my age, I won't tell it in public, but I'll tell you later. You won't believe it.
Well, you look fabulous, honey.
Thank
And
you.
I'll tell you what, I said, I'll never age gracefully. I'll fight it the whole way.
So,
My
fight,
hair's a
fight,
different
fight, fight,
color
fight,
every other
fight.
month. And, and I do it for fun. I don't do it to impress anybody. I do it because I enjoy it. I get bored and I change the color. Uh, but it's not to impress anybody but me.
Exactly. I like to look good, but I don't like want to look different than I am. I want to be who I am, you know? And some people have told me I'm beautiful. So I'll go
You
with,
are. You have a gorgeous smile.
oh,
I'll
look
tell you
who I
what.
have here. I have my dog, Dean. Dean, you want to be on TV?
Oh, there he is. Yeah, she's back here hollering at me again. She is such just Miss Thing. I had a cat and she got pregnant, which was fine. But she had a blood clot and passed away after she had the
Oh,
kitten.
I'm so sorry.
And so I raised these little kittens with a bottle. And now she is the most spoiled thing you have ever seen in your life. And she just goes around crying to be fed like she is Miss Thing. And she has probably had 2 cans of cat food already today, her and her sister. But she's going to cry for more.
Well,
Since
yeah. So that book, is a funny story. Well, it's not so funny because years later, when the republished book came out, Sarah would not, my daughter would not read it when it first came out. But years later, when the second book came out, the republished book came out, I told her she might like to read it again because she was older. And so she did. And after she read it, she was so angry with me. She said, "You used me." I said, "I didn't, I told you I was going to, and I got your permission." She said, "But I didn't know how you were going to do it."
I take it she's all better now.
Yeah, she's okay now. Yeah, she's accepted it, and we talked about it. But yeah, you have to be careful with an author because they might use you in a story.
Oh, yeah, I have many people. And me being a horror author, it's many people I don't like. I kill them off, I don't like you, you die today. That's always fun.
Well, no one's died well, knock wood, in my story so far.
So, I would, we're pushing time here because I'm just jibber jabbing. Would you please read some poetry for us?
Yes, I will. Like I said, did you have any like favorites? You want me to read from my book?
Yes, please.
Okay. Should I read the first part or the sad part?
Whatever you would like to read, whatever you would like to share with us.
Okay. So I'm gonna just get it. And it's called You'll Probably Forget Me Living With and Without Hal. And the title came from when we were talking. He said to me, "Oh, you'll probably forget me when I'm gone." And I said, "No, I'll never forget you." And so when he did go, I was devastated, but I never forgot him. And when I had to write a book, I decided to write that book and title it that. So let's see if we can find that book. Okay. Why can't I find it? I know I had it out a while ago and I should have taken it out. Okay, here it is. Okay, so the first part is about us meeting, and I wrote a screenplay about that kiss, and it's called The Kiss, and it was put into 2 festivals and received 2 awards. So I will read How Does Love Start? How does love start? Love begins like a tiny drop falling from a leaf. It's a spark you never knew lived in you. Coming alive for the first time as a newborn, as open and raw as a baby, eager to push forward. And its energy increases, pulsing through your body and brain, flicking switches you never thought you had, as it flies merrily around and sprinkles sparkles in your heart that radiate to all parts through your veins and arteries. They course until they reach your mouth and you smile and yearn for your lover's smile and linger on the thought of those lips covering yours. And your body doesn't behave. It keeps pushing for more and more touches. And those sparkles leap into your eyes when you see your lover, and your eyes refuse to leave your lover's face for fear of never seeing it again. For love has the mind of a toddler and must be fed until you are so filled to the brim with desire, and sparkles fly everywhere as you feel the sap as if you were touched by magic and suddenly transformed into an all-consuming creature, eager for only one thing, your lover and their touch.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
That is so beautiful.
Thank you. And so I'll read another from this. Let's see. Um, let's see. There's another one about love, but I think it's too boring. I'll read this one. 2 drifters off to see the world, or why I love Moon River. And Moon River was always our song. So
Oh,
because I saw Breakfast at Tiffany's, like, and I just knew that I just wanted that, and I got it. So um, when the strains of Moon River first found my ears, I was a naive girl of 17, unaware of the power this simple melody would have on my life. As I listened and watched as Audrey Hepburn sprawled across a window ledge holding a guitar, her feet on the metal slats of a New York fire escape, singing about an existential river, I loved the lilting notes and fell in love with the movie, the character not like myself, yet free. And I swallowed the song and the movie, holding it inside of me, lightening my heart until he appeared, the one who ignited the spark. And though neither of us realized at the time, we were touched by destiny, rowing down that moon river, 2 drifters off to see the world. And it was such a lovely world for us to see.
oh, oh, that is you're so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. So, okay, so you want me to read something else? I'll read something current because those are very old. And I'll read something not from my book because I can't read any of the sad poems at all. But I'll read the poems that I'm sending for through my eyes. These poems are brand new poems, and some have been published, but some of them not. And the one that I'll read now, this one's small, but I love this poem so much. I decided that I was going to write a book, and I wrote this poem as the introductory part of my book. So this is the introduction to my book. Serendipitous musings through my eyes. Come along on a trip through my mind's images, presented with my humble entreaty that you embrace the feelings expressed in these words. My life has been a series of serendipitous experiences woven with the pleasant vistas of various locales and distinct joy found in these. Burrow into these phrases filled with my thoughts inspired by deep emotions at the time, and maybe you will find one you can hold close to your heart. Let the serendipity of discovery guide you as you read these words that may or may not bring out your own emotions.
I like that.
And then I'll read you one. Do I have time for one more?
One more is good. Yeah.
Okay. I'll read the last one then. Well, one of the last ones that I wrote, and it's a very different style. So it's kind of interesting that I wrote this for a prompt, and it was in the style of Charles Bukowski. You familiar with Charles Bukowski
Yes,
and
I
his
am.
work? And it's called If You Have a Dream. If you have a dream, follow it to the end. Don't wimp out before you finish. Ride that sucker until you have no breath and they are measuring you for your funeral clothes. Keep going when the hurricane of derision pours on you. Ignore it and build a tent to protect you as you forge on. And yes, keep on going, never stop. You have a dream and you want to see it to the end. Maybe you will wind up in a pool of stagnant water, struggling to pull yourself out of it, but at least you will be trying and not hiding under the covers, saying to yourself, what a loser you are. And if you do attempt and attain this height, don't invite me into it because it's your dream and not mine. I already had mine, and now it's encased in the Technicolor movie of my mind. You have a whole lifetime to screw up or succeed. I am a useless shell with empty, broken dreams in my pocket. I'll throw them away, and then we can go for a nice long walk. We'll talk about your dream and how I am glad it's not mine.
Oh, that's fabulous. I love that one. Oh, that's fabulous.
And it's funny because I asked my friend Cynthia, who's a poet laureate in Canada, what poems she liked, and she chose the first one and that one. So I read them to you. So
That was fabulous.
thank you. And that's so unlike me. It's in his style, and yet I really love doing that kind of stuff, writing in different styles and writing. And I actually have other forms that I write in. I love sonnets, and I write a Sano. And interesting fact about the Sano is that this is the 6th anniversary of its beginning. The man Kemlo Pockrell actually invented the Sano, the English Sano. It was from Nepal, and he took the English Sano, he made it into an English words. And so it's 6 years since that form has started. and it's a very simple form. It's like a haiku, only it's 6, 7, and 8 line. Sorry, 7, 8, and 9 lines. So in a line, so it's 7, 8, and 9 syllables in a line, and you can have as many as you'd like. So, as many stanzas as you'd like. And he started out with no one, and now he's got about 200 people in the group of St. Louis, and I'm number 13. So I embraced it early.
Well, good for you. I'll tell you what, you're fabulous. We have got to have you back on the show again. You
Oh,
have
I'll
been
definitely come
wonderful.
back, Beth. I'll definitely come back. I love talking with you, and I hope that I can interview you for my blog, because I have a blog, Barbara's Meanderings, that I put out once a month, and I interview authors on there. And
Well, thank
Harry was
you.
on there.
I would love to. I would be
Oh, I
honored.
can't wait to have you on there, learn more about you as an
Ah.
author. Well, I really love this. I could talk to you forever.
I know, right? This has been so much fun. Thank you for being on. You have been a joy. I have enjoyed this so much.
I'm glad. I really enjoyed being with you, and I'm glad I could read some of my poetry. We are going, if you know anybody, or if anyone hears this from this area, we are going to be having not an open mic, but a reading at the Wilton Library in the Brubeck Room on April 13th. And it's called Impressions in Ink and Ivory 2. And what's going to happen there is our poems are going to be read to music, improvised
Ooh.
by a, a very famous, well, she's not famous, but she's very accomplished pianist. And she is Joyce, and she's Di Camillo, her name is. And she's a very accomplished pianist. And we did it last year in someone's home, but this year we're doing it in a larger venue. So I'm very excited.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, very excited to do it. We're going to read like 3 or 4 poems, and it's going to be like 6 or 7 people in the group. And very excited to do that. And my
Well,
book, Who is Jennifer Taylor, which I don't have a copy of, is coming out momentarily. By momentarily, I mean it's on the brink of being published. I did everything that I needed to do for this book, and I'm just waiting for the publisher to get it published.
yay! Well, you'll have to let us know when it comes out.
Oh, I will. I'll be plastering it all over Facebook and also Instagram. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Threads. So you can find me anywhere there. I'm also on Blue Sky if you're on that.
I have
And
not gone there yet, and I don't go on X. People are so mean there.
it's harder on Blue Sky, but I do like it because of the politics. So I go on there sometimes, but I I will be writing. Of course, April's coming up. I'm very excited. April is my month. I gather all the poems, and they're there all year. You know, they're like, it's like a farmer with his crops. You know, you sow the seeds in April, and then you have all of these crops during the year to use, rather than having to write a poem each day. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, but sometimes I don't feel inspired to write.
I'm not someone who can just sit down and write a poem. I have to just carry a notepad with me, and when it hits me, I write it down.
Yeah, well, last night somebody told me something very sad, and I wrote a poem about it, and I sent it to her because that's what I do. if someone tells me something sad, I usually write a poem about it because it's made me sad, and then I write, and then I have to write. So I wrote a poem about it, and usually people don't want to share because they're so devastated, you know. So I can't share it, but it was, I sent it to one other person who I trusted, and she then checked to see if she could share it. And the person said, no, no, can't share it. And that's that's the thing about poetry. Sometimes it's really personal. And what I found about my poems, especially, you read my book, so you know the personal ones in there, they're so personal. And yet when I posted them on Facebook, people loved them. I got tons of comments, and I never could figure out why, because it was so personal to me. And then people said that they made them feel like they were reminded of something in their life. And so I've decided that no poem is too personal.
No, I mean, it just seems a poem can mean something completely different to someone else, but they will still, it can mean something to you, but someone else can read it and feel something that relates to them
Right,
in a completely different way.
right. So that's what,
And yeah, poetry just is that way.
right. So if this person ever did decide to read, watch my interview, I don't want her to see that I read it. So, but I could share it with you after, if you want.
Well, we will have to say goodnight. And let's see, Saturday we have my good friend Mark and Mark Doherty. Sorry. The brain needs to be fed. I have not had my din din tonight. So
Well,
thank
it's
you,
late,
everyone.
it's getting to be dinner time, and no, I really love this, and I hate to leave, Beth.
I know we're having so much fun tonight. Thank you so much for being on the show, Barbara, and we
My
will have
pleasure.
you back again. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and good night, Carrie. Love you all, and we will see you Saturday.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much. Bye. Bye.
Bye.